The evacuation alarm screamed through the corridors of Station Villar 9. Red emergency lights painting the metal walls in violent crimson pulses. Sergeant Maya Rourke moved through the chaos with practiced efficiency, her combat boots striking the deck plating in rhythmic precision. Behind her, a cluster of Kethrian cubs stumbled and scrambled to keep pace, their 6 legs still clumsy with youth, their golden eyes wide with terror. "Stay close." Maya barked over her shoulder, not slowing her stride. The station shuddered as another explosion rocked its superstructure. Somewhere in the distance, hull breaches whistled their deadly song. The cubs chirped in affirmation, their translator implants rendering the sounds into comprehensible acknowledgement. There were 8 of them, each no taller than Maya's hip, their fur usually lustrous and well-groomed now matted with dust and fierce sweat. The smallest, a rust-colored cub named Rillick, clung to the back of his larger sibling, his tiny claws digging into thick fur. Maya had found them huddled in a maintenance bay when the Krell attack began. Their caretakers were gone, dead, or evacuated. She didn't know which. All that mattered was getting these children to the escape pods before the station tore itself apart. She rounded a corner into the main evacuation corridor and stopped dead. Commander Vexlar stood blocking the passage, his towering Kethrian frame filling the space like a living wall. His armor gleamed despite the carnage, ceremonial ribbons still perfectly arranged across his chest. Behind him, the corridor opened into the pod bay Salvation just 30 meters away. Sergeant Rourke. His voice rumbled with authority and something else. Disdain. "Stand aside." Maya's jaw tightened. "Sir, I have civilian cubs requiring immediate evacuation. You have my cubs, human." Vexlar's eyes narrowed to golden slits. "Who gave you authorization to handle children of the High Clans?" "Authorization?" Maya's voice cracked with disbelief. "Sir, the station is dying. I found them abandoned." "Abandoned?" Vexlar took a step forward, his bulk seeming to swallow the available space. "You presume much for a species barely admitted to the Galactic Council. These cubs are nobility. You, human, are contaminating them with your touch." The words hit like physical blows. Maya had faced this prejudice before the Kethrians were old, proud, and convinced of their superiority. Humans were newcomers, barbarians from a death world, tolerated, but never truly accepted. Another explosion. Closer this time. The cubs whimpered. "Sir, please." Maya kept her voice level, professional. "We need to evacuate now. The hull integrity, Indenitas, will hold long enough for proper protocols." Vexlar's hand moved to his sidearm. "You will surrender the cubs to my custody and proceed to the human evacuation sector." Am I clear? Maya's mind raced. The human sector was on the opposite side of the station, a death sentence with the Krell bombardment intensifying. And Vexlar's proper protocols meant hierarchy, ceremony, verification of bloodlines, while the station burned around them. She opened her mouth to argue, to plead, to somehow make this pompous fool understand that children were dying, but she never got the chance. A small body shot past her leg, a blur of rust-colored fur and desperate courage. Rillick, the smallest cub, planted himself between Maya and the commander. His child's growl was pitiful, his tiny body trembling, but he stood his ground. "No!" Rillick's voice came out high and cracking. "She saved us. She came back when everyone else ran." Vexlar stared down at the cub, shock momentarily breaking his imperious mask. "Child, you do not understand." "We understand." Another cub stepped forward, then another. Within seconds, all 8 formed a living barrier between Maya and the commander. "The human didn't abandon us. She found us in the dark. She carried us when we couldn't walk. She sang to us so we wouldn't be scared," Rillick added, his voice gaining strength. "She shared her water even though she was thirsty. She is good." The smallest cub looked back at Maya, and something in those golden eyes made her chest tighten. Trust. Absolute, unwavering trust. Vexlar's hand fell from his weapon. For a long moment, he simply stared at the cubs, at their defiant stance, at the way they had chosen to protect their human protector. The station groaned around them, metal screaming as supports failed. They speak truth? His voice had lost its edge. Yes, sir. Maya's voice was hoarse. I couldn't leave them. The commander's shoulders sagged almost imperceptibly. When he looked up, something had shifted in his eyes, recognition, perhaps, or shame. He stepped aside. Then I will not leave them either. He gestured toward the pod bay. Sergeant Rourke. After you. Maya didn't waste time with gratitude. She scooped up Rillick, who chirped in surprise, and broke into a run. The other cubs streamed around her, and behind them, Commander Vexlar's heavy footfalls kept pace. They burst into the pod bay just as another explosion tore through the station's eastern quadrant. Maya threw the cubs into the nearest escape pod, counting heads even as her hands flew across the launch controls. 7, 8. Commander, get in. Vexlar paused at the hatch, his massive frame filling the opening. There are others. Everyone else launched 10 minutes ago. Maya grabbed his armor and pulled with strength born of desperation. Get in. Now! He stumbled into the pod, and Maya slammed the hatch release. The mechanism engaged with a pneumatic hiss. Through the viewport, she could see the station's superstructure beginning to buckle, white-hot plasma breaching the outer hull. The pod launched. Acceleration pressed them back against the crash webbing. The cubs whimpered, and Maya pulled them close, her arms barely able to encompass them all. Rillick burrowed into her shoulder, his small body shaking. I've got you, she whispered, not caring that Vexlar could hear, not caring that she was supposed to maintain professional distance. You're safe now. I've got you. Through the viewport, Station Velar 9 died in a bloom of fire and scattered metal. But inside the pod, 8 cubs chirped their relief, clinging to the human who had refused to leave them behind. And Commander Vexlar, pride of the High Clans, watched in silence as Rillick looked up at Maya with absolute adoration and said, When I grow up, I want to be brave like you. The sergeant smiled, blinking back tears. You already are, little one. You already are. In the cold mathematics of the galaxy, humans were weak, short-lived, and diplomatically insignificant. But in the moments that mattered, when protocol meant death and hierarchy meant abandonment, humanity's stubborn refusal to leave anyone behind shone brighter than any star. And sometimes, that was all that mattered.